Shema Yisrael, Yahu Eloheinu, Yahu Echad, Baruch Shem Kebod Malkotho Leholam Voed.
Okay, shalom everyone. I am the Chief Magician of Mystery Babylon. Welcome to my holy channel. Before I get into the subject matter I wanted to discuss in this video, I just want to briefly state, especially for those of you that are new, I have over 200 Kabbalistic videos on my channel. They are the most sublime, most esoteric, Kabbalistic, Gnostic content that has ever been uploaded, that has ever been taught in this last generation. And a while back, I unlisted all of the videos because of reasons that I've already indicated in a video and on a blog post. Basically, to sum up, there's just too much profanity in the world, and I just feel our generation and most people are just not fully ready and consecrated to merit to have access to these very ancient esoteric teachings. So if you there are some of my disciples who have access to all of the videos. So if you want or desire access to those videos, you'll need to know one of my disciples who has the access to gain the access. As for my blog, all of my blog posts are now password encrypted, so you must own my latest book, Divine Revelations from the Holy Samael, in order to access all of those password encrypted posts. Now, I will also be uploading from time to time. I will continue uploading blog posts from time to time, but again, they will be password encrypted posts. Now, there might be a slight change because one of my followers, who I consider to be a master of Israel, recently said that ever since I shut down my holy operations and my ministry, that there's been a lot of negative effects that have happened in the world, and a lot of, holy people and etc. have either gone into hiding, or just a lot of bad stuff has happened, so to speak. Because I am the Chief Magician of Mystery Babylon, and I wield and hold so much divine power that can cause ripple effects in our world. And so he has told me that he I should reconsider and reopen everything, so to speak, for the sake of this last generation, so to speak. So I'll think about it, and I'll have to see what to do, because there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that I have to consider and I'm looking to, etc. There's a lot going on that I can't fully explain and talk about. But in any case, that's the current status quo. And so now I will move into what I want to talk about in this video, which is I wanted to do a very Kabbalistic Gnostic review of the movie The Matrix Resurrections. Now, in my great mercy, I've decided to make this video open to the public, and so this video will be open, completely open on my channel. And again, this is going to be an extremely sublime, ridiculously esoteric video. So I'm having a tremendous amount of mercy in allowing this type of video to be open. Now, for those of you who know who I am and follow me, you should very well know that we Jews are the chosen race, that we run the world, and that the real creators, the real power players behind the Matrix series are powerful, Luciferian Grandmaster Jews. Okay, a lot of people watch the movie The Matrix and they don't really fully understand, the movie or what's going on, which is really, really sad. Probably less than 0.01% of the population, if not less than that, truly understand what's going on. And the movie, at its most real level, is a depiction, a revelation of very ancient very esoteric, Kabbalistic, Gnostic theology and theosophy. And that's what we're going to be exploring and revealing today in this video. Now, I just want to first give a first 5 minutes of a summary and a brief review of the first trilogy, specifically the first movie, right? So when we look and analyze theologically the movie The Matrix, right, what we have is we have a messianic figure who is trapped in a simulation. And there are some very hardcore Gnostic elements that are very prevalent throughout the movie, that form the foundation of the movie, which is that if you understand the core essence of Gnosticism, right, is that this construct is entirely an illusion that was created by the evil demiurge, who is the God of the Old Testament, okay, who for the most part is the God of the Jews. And so that's really the essence, of the movie. Neo represents the Mashiach of Israel, you could say, so to speak, and he has descended right into this qliphothic construct that we inhabit, which is completely illusory. Okay. And so we see this in the Bible, right, when we look at the story of Pharaoh, right, and Yosef, right. Pharaoh occultly represents the demiurge, and his goal is in seeking to enslave Israel, right? His goal is to enslave Israel, to enslave the global human population, really. And then Yosef represents the Mashiach, who sits at the right hand of Pharaoh, who is the demiurge. Okay, so all of the Gnostic framework, right, is already occultly and esoterically embedded, within our Holy Torah, if you have eyes to see and ears to hear. Okay, and so we then see that again with the Matrix, we see that the humans, because they are enslaved, are kind of being used as batteries, to power, the construct, so to speak. That's exactly what is taught and revealed in the Gnostic framework as well, where the divine light, right, is trapped in what we ancient Jews and Gnostics call the guf, which is the body of the demiurge, and the demiurge needs that divine light to power and enliven this construct. Ergo, his need to enslave and trap that light in human qliphothic bodies. Okay? Again, this is, if you're highly initiated, right, you already understand all of this. The prerequisite to this video is that you already understand and you already know everything that I've just revealed here, because this is just the preliminary foundation to much more higher, more esoteric levels that we're going to be exploring and revealing in this video. Okay. Now, I have with me one of my chief disciples, a very beloved chief disciple, who is from a place not too far from where I grew up and lived, which is Mystery Babylon. Currently lives in Israel. He's a very holy, ridiculously highly initiated Jew, and he's just very well known for always just providing like really crazy, mind-blowing Kabbalistic revelations and gematriot, etc. So I'm very pleased and very excited to have him here. But before I get him on to start revealing some very deep esoteric stuff, I want to first give my own synthesis and review of the latest movie, The Matrix Resurrections, and explore some of the hardcore Gnostic, Frankist, Kabbalistic elements in it. And I want to first begin with what I consider to be the highest, most sublime, most powerful element in The Matrix Resurrections. Okay. Now, before I get into it, right, there's been all these videos that have been uploaded on the internet about the movie. Right, we have a lot of people that didn't like the movie. I mean, I would say on average, it's gotten more bad reviews than anything. Totally understand. I thought the acting was kind of poor. Some of the scenes didn't make sense. Some have even gone as far as to say it's a parody. It's a satire. I've seen it all. I've read it all. I'm totally aware. We're not interested in that. For me, that's immaterial. That's irrelevant. We're interested in exploring the Gnostic, Frankist, Kabbalistic framework and theological elements present in the movie, because that's the real essence of the movie. That's the real reason why the movie was made, why it was released. That's all that really matters. In the end, everything else is immaterial, so to speak. That's what the Goyim just can't and don't understand, unfortunately. Now, going back to what I was saying earlier, what I consider to be the highest Gnostic element in the Matrix Resurrections is that we see that the true Mashiach, in the end, is not Neo, but Trinity. And we know that Trinity represents the Holy Goddess, the Shekhinah, Malchuth. And this is a very Gnostic Frankist element, because we understand that the Mashiach is not a man. The Mashiach is not a man, right? I don't believe that Jesus or Yeshua is the Mashiach. I don't believe that Shabbatai Zvi is the Mashiach. I don't believe that Yaakov Frank is Ha Mashiach. Ha means the definite article in Hebrew is the letter Hey. I don't believe them to be HaMashiach, okay, technically speaking. Okay, I may refer to them as HaMashiach, as the Mashiach. That's what confuses the uninitiated, is when I refer to them as HaMashiach. But technically, I don't believe them to be HaMashiach, because I know that man is not the true Mashiach, right? When you get to the highest levels of initiation, you realize that the true Mashiach is the one who is Shekhinah, the Holy Goddess. Even as Yaakov Frank said, Yaakov Frank famously taught, in no way am I going to believe that Jesus, Yeshua, is the Messiah. Here's a Jew who's killed by his own people and does nothing in this construct, and I'm going to call him the Mashiach? He didn't even bring earthly salvation? Come on, you got to be really stupid here if you can't see this, okay? Same thing with Shabbatai Zvi, okay? And same thing with Yaakov Frank, okay? Are they extremely lofty, sublime? Are they the highest, loftiest souls, divine souls? Absolutely, but they're not the Mashiach. That's the Holy Goddess. And this is the mystery of what we read in our ancient oracles in Proverbs, where it says, He eats Chaim. That's Hebrew for she is the tree of life. Who is the tree of life? Does it say he is the tree of life? No. Nowhere are you going to find written in our ancient text where it says he is the tree of life. It says she is the tree of life. Okay, so at the highest levels of initiation, we understand that the Holy Goddess is the true Mashiach, and that's what we see in the Matrix Resurrections. It's a very, very powerful, esoteric, Gnostic element in the movie. I can't even begin to emphasize and explain just how ridiculously powerful and esoteric this matter is. Okay. Another powerful Gnostic element is what we see with the analyst, who represents the demiurge. Okay, the analyst is kind of an offshoot of the architect, right? Who is the demiurge, who has total control over the construct, right? We see the tremendous amount of power that the analyst displays in the movie, which sort of symbolizes the demiurge. Okay, I mean the powers that he expresses and demonstrates in the movie are just, they can only be equated with somebody like the demiurge, who has total power over the entire construct, which he is the one that created it and runs the entire construct. Okay, so to me, the analyst represents the demiurge. Now, where it gets really advanced and esoteric is with Agent Smith, right? Because the problem with most religions like Christianity, Islam, and even Judaism is that they don't have a full comprehension and understanding of the Sitra Achra and the hierarchy and the levels within the Sitra Achra, because they see Satan or the devil as this singular entity, right? It's a very singular. They attach a very singular essence and totality to the devil, or to Samael or Lucifer, whatever you want to call him. Okay, but in reality, we're dealing with a polysemous plural entity, so to speak. Okay, and so there's many levels at play. Okay, and this is why this is why you need to understand that we Jews run the world, that the few people that are behind the movie The Matrix, which are my brothers, are Luciferian Jewish grandmasters, and I can't even begin to tell you how ridiculous initiative they are, and I can't even fully reveal the entire Gnostic Kabbalistic essence of the movie because it would take too long, and most of you don't even meet the prerequisites to fully understand it. But what I'm going to reveal here is even too. What I'm going to reveal here, I think, is just too esoteric for most of you listening. That you're not going to understand. But the demiurge, we can say, is one representation, one level of Hasatan, and we also have a lower level, which is what we call the Klippa of Mashiach. This is what we see with the equation of the Nachash. Nachash equals Mashiach in gematria. Okay. And so on one level, this represents the two opposing poles of the essence of Mashiach. We have a bipolarity here, right? One is good and one is evil. The Mashiach represents the good pole, the holy good pole or spectrum or essence of the Mashiach, and the Nachash represents the Klippa of the Mashiach. And so Agent Smith is really just the opposing principle of the Mashiach, which is the Klippa of Mashiach, okay? Which also represents another level of Hasatan, a much, you could say, a lower level than, say, the demiurge, okay? So it's a very, very crucial Gnostic element within the framework that needs to be fully understood, okay? Now, if I go to Sati, who's played by that famous Bollywood actress, it gets even more deeper and even more esoteric and complex within the Gnostic Kabbalistic framework, because when you see reviews of Sati and people trying to understand her role within the movie, there's a lot of confusion. Okay, is she working with the architect? Is she working with Neo? There's a lot of confusion. Okay, and this all hints and points to the fact that Sati represents the Klippa Noga. She is Haklipath Noga of the divine feminine. And that's all I can say. I can't go any deeper because it's way too ridiculously esoteric. You would have to be a high practicing holy magician to even begin to understand these esoteric matters of the highest order. I can't reveal anymore. That's the most I can say on that matter. Now, what we see with the Matrix is that we have what are called programs, which in Gnostic lingo would be the archons, because the archons are programs, right? Basic Qabbalah 101 teaches that God created the universe through the Hebrew letters and through the medium of speech, and that's exactly what we read in the Torah, where it says, Bereshit bara Elohim, Elohim created. I mean, it says, my mistake. It says, Vayomer Elohim, and Elohim spoke, right? He speaks. He's speaking the creation. And speech, right, is a function of letters or the alphabet. So everything is interconnected, right? And what is programming? AI. All this is all built on binary language, right? Which we could call sigils, letters, right? So this is all allegory, right? We have to understand the movie through Gnostic Kabbalistic allegory, and so these programs, a lot of these programs, just really are just archons working for the demiurge, so to speak. Okay, and we can see how everything is created through code, just like we see everything is created through Hebrew letters in our construct, right? So heavy Kabbalistic Gnostic, terminology, code, etc., all prevalent throughout the movies of the Matrix. So I think I've revealed as much as I'd like to reveal at this point. Now we're going to go really super crazy deep with my disciple here, Zacharyahu. Zacharyahu, if you want to briefly introduce yourself.
Hello, you can hear me?
Yep, can hear you.
Hi. Well, I mean, I really appreciate those words you shared earlier. It's just an honor to be here and just to be one of your disciples, because I don't know if you remember when we first met, I was just a fucking idiot, just absolute moron. And now just to be able to be here with you. It's just such an honor. So I really
Well,
appreciate
thank you,
everything.
Aki. It's a pleasure and honor to have you. You are a true sublime Jewish soul, as you have proven. You have proven yourself. So it's a pleasure and honor to have you, and I'm really excited because you always go super crazy deep. You always mind fuck me, so to speak.
Oh, well, I try. Try. Okay, so basically how I'm gonna do this. So I kind of sent Chief like a couple paragraphs, and they were just like my initial thoughts. So I'm gonna read from that. It's going to be like a lot more organized, and then after that, um, just have some notes, and I kind of take it a few steps further. And because they're like notes, I didn't really type it out properly. I'm gonna wing it, but I know everything that's written, so it's not gonna be as organized. But I'm kind of gonna go with the flow as far as that. And
And
I'm basically.
sorry to interrupt you, but I just want to briefly mention that I have a Microsoft Word document up so that I can type the Hebrew equations up for all of you to see.
Oh, okay, got it. So yeah, so before I go in, basically what I'm basing this off of is like Chief's first two books and the teachings of Yaakov Frank, like his magnum opus. So I mean, if you haven't read that, then I mean, I don't really think you should listen to any of this, and you probably wouldn't be here in general, but just kind of as a prerequisite. Okay. So, all right. So basically, in the first scene, it shows Morpheus, who is Mashiach ben Yosef, finding the Shekhinah, because Mashiach ben Yosef, it's from the Klipoth, just like Yeshua goes to the Klipoth, Shabtai Tzvi, Yaakov Frank. They all do the sort of strange acts, like Shabtai Tzvi, switching to Muslim religion, just that sort of concept. And he found bugs, which is the Shekhinah. And after that, he woke up out of the matrix and he ascended. And then the original Neo from the original trilogy, who is Mashiach ben David, Morpheus, he's sort of like Neo was asleep and he had to wake up and he had to ascend to Morpheus. And Morpheus, if you know Yaakov Frank's teachings, served as the true Esau in that relationship. So he was he came from the Klipoth, ascended, and Neo had to arrive to that point, which is, as Yaakov Frank says, it's the place of Aleph, which lies with Esau. And that's why after he woke up, Neo, he met with Morpheus in the tower. And because Aleph expanded, Aleph Lamed Pei equals Migdal Babel, which is the Tower of Babel.
So 1 second, let me type this out so that people can see this. Okay?
Okay. Yeah.
So sorry guys, it's very tedious having to type out this Hebrew here on Microsoft Word. Okay, let's go to the Hebrew here. Hebrew. So we got Migdal. Migdal. Babel equals, you said Aleph, right?
Yeah. Aleph.
So this is before you continue, let me just say this is a ridiculously sublime equation here, because right, in Orthodox Judaism and Christianity, and we could even extend it to Islam, it's taught that the Tower of Babel was evil, right? You're taught that the world was evil, it committed evil in creating this tower, and that Nimrod was evil, right? But everything is inverted in the real true theosophy, which is Gnostic Frankism, okay? Because we're at odds with the demiurge, right? What was happening in this generation was people were waking up to the evil demiurge, and they were uniting. They were uniting to rise and fight against this evil demiurge, and that's why they built this tower, right? And Babel in Aramaic, in the word Baba in Aramaic means gate. So they're building this gate, this supernal gate, to rise and fight against the demiurge. And the demiurge, in his great power, because he's so powerful, right? He's the god of this world, right? He stopped this. He intervened, and he's like, I'm not gonna be overthrown, right? The Mashiach was not present at this moment, and that's why the operation failed. Now, the highest proof, one of the highest proofs and seals that what I'm telling you is the truth, is that Migdal Babel, the Tower of Babel, in Gematria is equal to Aleph. If you understand the holy nature and essence and power of the letter Aleph, right? And that's all you need to know, right? Now, I also want to add that as I'm here with my disciple, we're going to go very deep here. We're going really crazy deep. We're going to use Gematriot, advanced Kabbalistic methods, Abulafian metalinguistic methods and stuff. So, I mean, if you're not familiar with, if you're not a true initiate and adept, and you haven't read a large swath of actual Kabbalistic books in Hebrew, and you're not highly initiated, you're not going to understand the methods that we're utilizing here and what's going on and what we're doing. Just FYI. But continue, Zachariahu.
Right, and kind of to build off what you were saying, so switch in Babel, switch the Lamed in the Bet, and it's Belev, right? So in the heart. And so it tells you in Yirmiyahu that the Lev, the heart, it always deceives you. And Shlomo HaMelech, he always says the wicked woman, the Zona, the whorish woman, also deceives, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna kind of get back to that later, but just keep that in mind. I'm about to cover that right now. Right, so let's see, what was I? Right, so the other Neo, the Neo who is still asleep, like the kind of the new Neo from the movie. So he was in the Klipoth, and he had to find Trinity, right? Which in this relationship, Trinity is Lilith. Because there are just so many different levels to this movie. So in this, like at one point, Trinity could be Mashiach, could be the Holy Shekhinah, and at one point she could be Lilith. So at this point, she's Lilith because she was trapped with her family. She was trapped in her life. So the only relationship they could have would be a forbidden relationship. So it's the exact same thing as Moshe with Tzipporah, and Shlomo HaMelech with the Egyptian girl, and it's the same thing. All the patriarchs, Abraham with Hagar, it's the same exact thing, same concept.
You're absolutely. This is a very, very, very esoteric, sublime teaching that you have laid out here, Zachariahu. What we are talking about quintessentially here is the tikkun, the restoration, the tikkun of Lilith. Back into Shekhinah, into her true original divine root. And I also want to also mention some other Kabbalistic elements in the movie that I failed to mention earlier, which is that we see in the Matrix how there are many constructs, right? When Neo meets the architect I believe in the movie in I think it's called The Revolutions. Is it The Revolutions? I think it is. In the second Matrix movie, the architect tells him, listen, there are many constructs, and you currently are in the sixth construct, and you have predecessors. Now, what does that mean? When he says that there are predecessors to Neo, he is talking about the various Gilgulim, or reincarnations of the Mashiach. And the various constructs represent the revolution of the aeons, the revolution of the heavens and the earth, right? Because in Kabbalah, we are taught about the cosmic cycles, that there are many different levels to the cosmic cycles, many different types of cosmic cycles, concentric circles, wheels within wheels, okay? We see a Kaphathic parallel within the Eastern religions with Hinduism and the yogis. The yogis are cosmic cycles, right? So this is all very ancient esoteric Gnostic Qabbalah theology, right? That there's a revolution of aeons, there's a revolutions of concentric cosmic cycles, and even the most powerful element here is the reincarnation, the Gilgulim of the Mashiachim, that the Mashiach reincarnates. This is something that stupid Christians just don't understand. The Muslims, well, what the fuck do they know? Okay, they're as stupid as it gets. And the Jews, well, most Jews are also very stupid, but the Kabbalistic Jews absolutely know about the reincarnations of the Mashiach because they are extensively spoken of in the Liriana Kabbalah, if you are that initiated, of course. But you can continue, Zechariah. I just wanted to bring those points up.
Yeah. Okay, so, right, so I believe it's the first chapter of Mishlei. It says, Yirat Hashem is the beginning of Chachma, right? So, Yirat is the fear. And kind of what I was saying earlier, you feel fear, what happens? Your heart starts beating very fast. You fear it's from the heart, right? So Yirat has the same gematria as Torah, okay? And Torah, when you move around the letters, equals Hator or Hathor, right? Which is Lilith in the Egyptian religion, okay?
Wait, so you know what, Zechariah? Let's write this down. You said Yirath?
Yeah.
All right, hold on. Yirath. Tell me if I'm spelling this right. Oh, crap.
Second.
Okay, so oh crap, what's going on? Is this what you had in mind?
Yirat equals Torah.
So is that right? Would I have Yirath?
Oh, yeah.
It equals. So are you sure you're right on this one? Let's see. Torah. Yeah, you're right. Wow. That's amazing. So fear of equals Torah. Powerful. Absolutely powerful.
Right? And so, well, think about what you talk about this in one of your books, how Moshe on the mountain he talked with Samael and Lilith. So think about this. What does it call the mountain in the Torah? It calls it the Har of Aish, right? So flip those letters around, you get Asherah, right? Which is Lilith in, I believe it's the Mesopotamian religion. It's in one of, maybe the Babylonian.
So I'm sorry, say that again. You said mountain of what?
Har of Aish, because it's like the mountain of fire, right? So
okay.
He had to ascend to the mountain of fire he had to ascend through the Har of Aish to get a Torah.
So mountain of fire is. How do I do this? Damn, this gets confusing. It may not be right here, but it should be. Equals. You said that was it. What was it again?
But Aleph Shin Resh He.
Okay, so basically, Har Aish, actually I have Aish here first, but Aish should be after Har. But Har Aish, mountain of fire, is equal to Asherah, which we know is the Klippah of Shekhinah, which is Lilith, so to speak.
Right. Right. So they what we call Lilith. It's the whore of Babylon. It's the Zona. That's what Shlomo Melech calls it. It's like it's the Hazonah equals Chachma, right?
Okay. So this is what Hamashiach Yaakov Frame taught. He being the highest Gnostic, that Lilith is who actually gave the Torah at Mount Sinai. In Sefer Gan Eden, my latest publication, I go ridiculously crazy deep into these revelations, proving it all out with numerous proofs and seals, which Zechariah can attest to, that indeed, amen, Lilith gave the Torah. Another proof and seal that he just revealed here, I have tons of them in my book, but one that he gave here is that in the Torah, Mount Sinai is called Har Aish, mountain of fire. And guess what? Har Aish, mountain of fire, permutes to Asherah, who is Lilith. Tells you everything you need to know who was on that mountain and who was giving the Torah. Now, again, he also reveals here that Chokhmah, which is wisdom, this is ridiculously powerful. This is what was a total mindfuck for me, quite honestly. Just blew me away like crazy. I mean, you could probably spend hours just on this Hidush alone, you know. I can't even begin to tell you. I can't begin to emphasize just how ridiculously crazy, deep and esoteric this is.
Right, because Yaakov Frank, one of his teachings, I don't remember which number it is, but he said, man must go down to the darkest of darkness, and then from there we will rise up and we will never stop rising up. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the Tiferet going to the deepest parts of Malchuth, which is Lilith, the Klippah of Malchuth, and then ascending to Chachma.
Now, it's very important to notice that when we say that Yirath equals Torah, you have to understand that Yirath is the construct straight. Yirath is the grammatical construct state of the Hebrew word fear, which is yirah. So duly notate that. Secondly, hazona, which is the Hebrew word for whore. So the whore is equal to chokhmah. I mean, again, you could spend. You could probably spend just years penetrating just this mystery alone. But chokhmah, right, we know on one very esoteric level, is the holy goddess, is Sophia. Chokhmah is Sophia, who is the holy goddess, who is also the divine whore. Understand this.
Right, and if you put the word tzaddik, a righteous man, and chachma, you put those two words in atbash, it equals hazona in atbash, right? So the tzaddik with chachma, it ascends from hazona.
I'm sorry, say that again, Zechariah.
So if you put chachma and tzaddik in atbash, it equals hazona. So, right, so the tzaddik with chachma comes from hazona.
So you're saying if you write out the two words chokhmah, tzaddik, and atbash, it equals hazona?
Yeah, Hazona also in Atbash.
All right, so this also equals, do you know what that is in Atbash?
Tzadik, Ayin, Hey, Tet.
Wait, I'm sorry,
Tzadik.
hold on. What are you doing in Atbash right now? Chokhmah?
Hazona.
Oh, Hazona. But didn't you just say that Chokhmah and Zadik in Atbash equals Hazona?
Yeah.
So don't you need to put Chokhmah and Zadik in Atbash?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so you want to give me Chokhmah and Atbash.
Okay. Samech, Lamed, Chaf,
Samek,
Tzadik.
Lamed, then what?
Yud, Tzadik.
You mean Zadi?
Yeah, Tzadik. Yeah.
And that's it, right?
Yeah.
And then what's Zadik in Atbash?
Hey, Kuf, Mem, Dalit.
Okay, and you're saying that equals to Hazona, right?
Yeah. So
Oh,
Hazona and
crap, it's not working. Well, anyways, guys, it equals. So Chokhmah and Zadik in Atbash equals Hazona. That is ridiculously powerful.
right. And let's see. Okay, so the other thing. Oh, right. So as we were talking about earlier, Trinity on one level being Hamashiach, and Yaakov Frank, he also talks about how Yeshua, King David, all these tzaddikim were really feminine. They're really female, right? Mm-hmm. And so Sophia is Adbash for Baphomet, which equals Yehoshua, right? So you see Sophia, which is the Shekhinah, equals Baphomet, which is the hermaphrodite, and Yehoshua being Hamashiach, right?
So let's do this. So I think, is it Samek or Shin? I think it's Shin, right?
Shin, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And I reveal this in one of my videos, the mystery of Sophia being Baphomet, right? So when the knights, there was a lot of stupidity and confusion on the Orthodox religious side vis-a-vis the Catholic Church, right? When they were ignorantly and stupidly teaching that the Knights Templars worshipped Baphomet. If you understand the mystery and you were initiated, you knew that Baphomet was Sophia and Atbash, because who did they really worship? Sophia.
Right. And the crazy thing is, this movie, which, I mean, the movie itself is the red pill. I mean, that's just how the Matrix 4 is the red pill. And it's just so outrageous. And this movie was written by a transgender, which represents a Baphomet, depicting Neo being Yehoshua or Hamashiach, and Trinity, who is Sophia. So you see kind of how that equation kind of works itself out. It's pretty mind blowing.
So before we get into that, so it's Yehoshua, right?
Yeah.
And it's Baphomet. I got the Baphomet right too, right? With the Tav.
Let me look.
Let me look here real quick. I think I got this right. I'm trying to go by memory here.
Let's see. Yeah.
So that's all right?
Yeah.
So it's just very, very powerful, because what the Knights Templars were using here was Abraham Abulafian meta-linguistic gematria techniques. So these were very powerful, esoteric Abulafian Kabbalistic methods. And what we see here with the application of this is that Sophia, which is this is a Hebrew transliteration of the Greek. What are the odds? What are the chances that it actually equals Yehoshua or Yeshua in Hebrew, and also is Baphomet Anabash, right? Which is part of the secret cipher of the secret society, of the Holy Secret Society. So again, this is all just very, very ridiculously powerful divine revelation. And going back to what you said earlier, Zechariah, yeah, it's very noteworthy that the Wachowski brothers are trannies, right? Which hints at the transgender nature of the Mashiachim and of the higher universes, so to speak, if you're that initiated and you can understand.
Right, exactly. And okay, now is where I'm going to really get into it. So, the prerequisite for this, I mean, you have to have read Chief's last two books, and what I'm referencing now is he uses the same intro for each book, and he talks about the divine serpent, right? And talking about the reptilians and the reptilian nature of this world and the construct and how it's ran by reptilians, right? So if you have to read that before you really understand this, and really you should go and open Genesis chapter 4 and read about Cain murdering Abel, because what happens after Cain murders Abel? It says, Adam, he said, you have murdered, or Cain had murdered his only son, right? So if Cain isn't Adam's son, then whose son is he? Right?
Correct. So
Cain is, in this case, he is the serpent. He came from Eve and the serpent. This is kind of the reptilian nature, right? So this is one of the highest truths that we really have, is about the revelation of the serpent and what that story really means. And kind of what got Neo to wake up was, what did he do? He followed the white rabbit. So white rabbit in Hebrew, Aleph Resh Nun Bet, Lavan Lamed Bet Nun. If you put that in Atbash, it has a gematria of 1041, which has the number 141, which is a very divine number. And that equals Cain ben Hanachash Ha'amiti, Cain, son of the true serpent, right? So that is proof that they know about, the truth about the serpent and the truth about what happened in the Garden of Eden. And that was the revelation of the divine serpent. That is what woke him up, right? And hold on. And one second.
So this is very powerful because, what the hell happened here? I think it's Tom's. Yes. Yeah. So this is very powerful because white rabbit in Hebrew, which is on the right, so Arneb Laban, which is Hebrew for white rabbit, is equal to Hazona in Abash, right? Hazona means the whore in Hebrew. So the whore in Hebrew in Abash is equal to the white rabbit, right? And what do they tell Neo in the movie? Follow the white rabbit, which just happens to be the divine whore, which is Lilith. In the Kabbalah, it's just
Yeah.
it's mind stag. It's just staggering. It's ridiculously staggering to say the least.
Right. So follow Lilith, follow the Zona. Another thing I forgot to mention is, so what do they call Hathor? They call her the eye of the sun, or the eye of Ra. So Ayin Bishemesh in Hebrew, it has a gematria of Kubia Shel Metatron, which is Metatron's cube. Right?
So hold on.
when
So
you
go back. You said something earlier about after you said this equation about the right rabbit. What was the next thing you said after that?
which one?
Something about the serpent equals the gematria 1000 or something.
Yeah. So Arnev Levan in Atbash is 1041.
Wait, what did you say
which
again?
Arnev Levan in Atbash.
Anev, what was the first thing?
Levan, Arnev Levan, the white rabbit.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Equals what?
Equals 1041,
Okay.
which is the same gematria as Cain ben Hanachash Ha'amiti. So
Wait, how does
Cain
how does the white rabbit equal 1051?
in Atbash.
Oh, in Apash, it's
Yeah.
1051. Okay. Which is
It is Taf, Gimel, Tet,
so you're saying it's
Shin.
I'm sorry, what does it equal? What does 1041 equal?
It's Taf, Gimel, Tet, Shin, Chaf, Shin, and then Tet.
Okay.
Right, which is equals Cain, son of the true serpent, right?
In Hebrew, it equals Kain ben Nachash.
Anachash ha'amiti.
Okay, so forget this. Why did you spell this out like this? What is this here? What does that mean?
1 second.
What does Tad Gimel Chet Shin Tav mean?
No, it's Atbash. It's
Abash for
wait
what?
for Arnev Lavan, white rabbit.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah.
So this is
Oh wait, you want me
Abash
to
of white rabbit.
hold on? Maybe it'd be easier if I typed it. Want me to share
No,
my screen and so I have like a Hebrew keyboard on my phone.
You do? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, before you do, so just to recap, Laban Arneb, white rabbit in Hebrew, is equal to the Abash of Hazona. Okay, we've already explained that. Now you're saying the Abash of the white rabbit, which is what we have here below. And now you can share your screen and show me and show you're typing what that means and what that equals. I'll stop sharing.
Okay. So, wait, you see my screen?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Okay, so Arnev Levan, Taf, Gimel, Tet, Shin, Chaf, Shin, Tet.
And that's the Abash of Arneb Laban.
Yeah, and that equals Cain ben Anachash T. Right, so Cain, son of the true serpent.
And let's not forget that in the Lurianic Qabbalah, it is taught that Yeshua HaNatsari, that Jesus Christ, his soul root is in Cain, meaning that they teach that Yeshua HaNatsari is a Gilgul of Cain. But where it gets really interesting, as if you followed my blog posts, is that in the Lurianic Qabbalah, what makes it very Gnostic is that they teach in the Lurianic Qabbalah that the root soul of Cain is many levels above the root of Habel, and that Cain is way more exalted spiritually than Habel. This is very powerful gnosis.
Habel, he is the shepherd, right? He's a shepherd for the sheep.
Mm-hmm.
But you and me, we're not sheep, so he's not really relevant to us, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, then the next thing I said, Ayin Bishemesh, which is Hathor, equals Metatron. Excuse me. Kubia Shell Metatron. Okay. So this is what we're saying about how follow the white rabbit is follow Lilith. Lilith, which is Hathor, which is the eye in the sun, and you break out of this, which is the Metatron's cube, which is this construct, right?
And so, let's also mention that Hathor is a permutation of Torah.
Right. Exactly.
Right. So it's very, very interesting, right? That Hathor, this very powerful divine goddess, right, in the ancient Egyptian theosophy, is a permutation of Torah, and that's exactly what we teach in the Kabbalah, that the Torah is a divine goddess, similar to Hathor.
Right. And now on the topic of Cain and Abel, so there's a very, very powerful section of the Zohar that talks about the verse from the Torah, the vanity of vanities, which it says vanity 5 times. And in the Zohar, it discusses how it's really implied that it talks about it 7 times. And so I kind of shared this before in privately, like in our group, but a review for people who aren't in our group chat. So, okay, so if you take Havel, which is vanity, times 7, because the 7 vanities, it equals 259. And wait, no, let me type that.
And why you do that? This is just another proof that why Habel is irrelevant in the bloodline, because when you look at the ancient Gnostics, there was a Gnostic sect known as the Cainites, who were known as the followers of Cain, or Cain. And this is relevant, right? Because I myself am a Cainite, or a Cainite. I'm a son and follower of the ancient Cain, a rebel against the demiurge. And the proof is, well, Habel means vanity in Hebrew, right? Underscoring what is esoterically taught in the Lurianic Qabbalah, that Cain is way more exalted and relevant than Habel.
Well, right.
I've written a couple of blog posts going very deep into this matter for those who have read them.
Because if you think about Hamashiach ben Yosef, take Yosef plus 4 letters, and you equal Cain. Right?
Powerful.
So
that's very powerful, right? Because and this is why this is important, because Yeshua HaNatsari, who they say is from the root of Cain, is Mashiach ben Yosef, right? Here, the root of Yeshua is Yosef, right? The soul root of Yeshua is Yosef, and the soul root of Yosef, guess what? As Yahu just proved, is kind. It all adds up. Now, what's the relevance of 259?
Okay. Oh, I'm getting to that. So, so the seven sparks, or the seven vanities, obviously correlates with the seven kings of Edom. So take Edom times 7 plus 28, and it equals Shekhinah, right?
Mhm.
And so, but let's go here to
And that in
259.
of itself is a very ridiculously powerful equation that I get into and mention in my Sefer Mu'akan Eden.
Yeah, because while we're talking about that, or while we're talking about Moshe going to the Haravesh and this, it also says he enters to the Ha'araval, which also has a gematria of 385.
I think
And right, so anyway, so let's go to this 259. Nun, Yud, Aleph, Vav, Vav, which is the expanded version of Neo. Okay, and 259.
okay, so let's just go back here. So Arfel. So you said that Arfel. I think earlier you said Arfel equals Shekhinah, right?
Yeah, Ha'arafal.
So that the word Arfel in Hebrew means, usually it can be translated as darkness, right?
Yeah.
And Arfel equals Shekhinah, meaning that Shekhinah is the darkness, right? Which is another esoteric reference. So anyways, that equation in of itself is ridiculously deep.
Yeah, so we take 259 in Kolel to, equals Kundalini. So if you think about that, what is Kundalini? They teach in the base of your spine, it's a latent energy that needs to be aroused.
Okay, so what you did was up above you spelled Nun Yod Aleph Vav, which is the expansion of Neo in Hebrew. So what's the connection between the expansion of Neo to the seven breaths?
Wait, hold on. Six. I think I spelled that wrong. I think I spelled Kundalini wrong, but it's not. Okay, so what I'm saying is, this is what we're saying. Like, he follows the white rabbit, and which is follow the zona, follow the klipa, and he gets to this point of the seven vanities, which correlates with Kundalini, which Kundalini is taught as the serpent energy latent at the base of your spine that needs to be aroused, and once it's aroused, it rises up your spine, right? So this is kind of the concept that we've been talking about this whole time, about Neo going into the klipa and then rising up, and really just all the Mashiachim, just in general.
You also mentioned when you were texting me equating Neo with Bina.
Oh, Oh, right. Neo equals Bina.
So the Hebrew transliteration of Neo is equal to Bina in Gematria, understanding. Everything is, as I've been saying from the very beginning, for those of you that have followed me, everything is interconnected. And that was the whole point of Abraham Abulafia, right? If you've read the very esoteric writings of Abraham Abulafia in the original Hebrew, he shows how everything is interconnected through the Hebrew language.
Yeah, exactly. And just as a side note, if I like, because I'm kind of going off the dome here, if I spell any of these words wrong and it doesn't quite add up, just know like I'm spelling it wrong. Like Kundalini, I'm pretty sure I spelled that wrong, but just know it. Just trust me, it adds up. But okay, so now we're gonna go into oh, here we go. Okay. So the construct in the matrix, they call it Zion. And so let's take, which, I mean, he destroyed it. And what was it? I think it was the second one he destroyed, Zion. And so Neo, he had to escape Zion in order to get to Trinity, right? Because he had the choice. He had to pick Trinity or he had to pick Zion, Trinity or the sheeple, pretty much. And so how did he get to that point? How did he get to the architect? What did he do? He had to go to the keymaker. So Neo is Zion equals Yod Vav Aleph Samech, which is Atbash. It's the Atbash of Good Vav Aleph Samech, which is the Atbash, or that's the expansion of that, which is the Atbash of Mifteach. So think about, go back, open up the Book of Revelations.
That's ridiculously, see, that's a mind fuck. That's a huge, massive mind fuck. I mean, Neo from Zion is equal to the expansion of a word which in Atbash is mafteach, which is Hebrew for key.
Right. So let's just think about in the Book of Revelations, the key of David, and the door that opens, or the open door that shuts and never opens again. Think about that. And I mean, oh man, I think eventually, because I've really broken down that verse. I don't know if I should really get into it now, because it's just pretty. It's probably the most esoteric thing I've found ever, and I don't know if I'll ever beat it. So I don't know if I can really go over that verse right now. Maybe after you and me, Chief, I can show you what I found about it. But
sure,
I think in the future, maybe if I write my own book, I'll definitely dive into that. But I mean, they pretty much, all I gotta say, they reenacted that exact verse from Book of Revelations where it talks about the key of David. So, kind of just when you're thinking about that movie, maybe go back and read that passage. And it's very crazy how they set it up. And go here. Trinity. Let's get into Trinity now. Trinity plus 7 letters equals, and we're talking, we were talking about earlier her being the Hamashiach. So this is that version of Trinity equals Hermes. Okay, so Hermes is, I believe he's the god of wisdom. He's the Greek version of Thoth. Thoth being the god of wisdom, the serpent god. And so let's take Hermes and Adbash, which is Tzadik, Gimel, Yud, Chet, which equals Aleph. So, right, it's just the same concept over and over and over and over and over again. Like it's the whole Torah is like this, and the Matrix, they understand this. It's the last generation. They're releasing this stuff, the same stuff Yaakov Frank understood. It's just over and over. It just keeps repeating itself. These concepts, and so if you take Neo plus Trinity, okay, equals 365, which, 365 days in the year in this construct, and it's known that that's the gematria of Abraxas, which is the version of the demiurge, and so add 11, because there are 11 letters, it equals Esau. So here we go again, the union of Neo and Trinity, and then you work this in with the once you read Yaakov Frank's teachings about the true Esau, and you really see where this all kind of comes together. And that's why, I told Chief it is the most Frankist movie, and it's very, very very unbelievable. And
yeah, we have to understand that the few Jews that run the world are full-blown Gnostic Frankists, like myself.
yeah, absolutely.
And I think very few are going to be able to see and understand this, because what we have demonstrated and shown here can literally be done with everything, right? You have to be very stupid and retarded if you think this is all just sleight of hand. It's not.
Yeah. Oh, it's the divine plan. It's divine plan. And so it's also known, we have Neo and Trinity, that's a divine couple, but Hamashiach ben Yosef and Hamashiach ben David, that's also a divine couple.
And so what we see here is, right, the true salvation and true renewal doesn't come until both the divine feminine and the divine masculine are fully united, which is exactly what the Qabbalah teaches, that everything centers on the yichud, the unification of the divine feminine and the divine masculine. Okay, in the classical Kabbalah, the union of Tifereth, or Zeranpin and Nukba. Okay, and what do we see, right? We see in the last movie, we finally see the complete yichud and tikkun of the divine feminine and the divine masculine vis-a-vis Neo and Trinity, and that ushers in the new world order, a new divine order, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly. And okay, so now I got here. You have Neo plus Morpheus, so it equals 470. So 470, what? That's time. You know, we're trapped in the realm of time. Or Shlomo HaMelech. Shlomo HaMelech, who is he? He's the son of David. So he's the kind of the klipoth. He's the
Well,
wisest man.
that's very interesting because that's also equal to Lilith in its deficient form.
Well, yeah, and because I was. So if you add for 12 letters equals 482, which is once again in Lilith. Right? So it's the same, like I said, same concept.
Damn, that is ridiculously mind-blowing. You know, there used to be this show on TV called Mind Freak, where you had this satanic magician called Chris Angel doing all these crazy magic. It's called Mind Freak, but sometimes I feel I should do a show called Mind Fuck.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's beautiful. And oh, here we go. Okay, so let's take. Wait. Yeah. So
Well,
let's
you know
take
what? You know what? We've been on for about a little over an hour. I don't want to make this video too long, so let's just wrap it up with your final top revelation.
Oh, okay.
You want to see the best top revelation? Let's wrap it up with the last one here.
Yeah. Basically, it's the. I mean, I have just countless examples from, and I could keep going forever, really, just from this movie, and from Yaakov Frank, from all these teachings. The whole concept is, you go into the klipa, then you ascend, right? And it's the same thing here. It's the same thing in all these stories. And the klipa is Lilith, and you get salvation from the Shekhinah, the Holy Spirit. That's where the Mashiach comes in. And so many people, they're going to be deceived by this. And it's just what can we say at this point? Chief has over 200 videos and 2 books, and there's so many books that can free you from this. And you just gotta open your mind, and that's really just it. You just have to take these esoteric concepts, put them in their place with chachma, because chachma puts everything into place like a father does to a son, and you'll figure it out. So yeah, just hope this could open some minds. I mean, I could go on for like a 24 hours, honestly, but I think we've done enough.
Yeah, I agree. And thank you for taking the time to do this. I think the vast majority of people watching this video are not worthy and don't merit it. But again, in my great mercy, I'm going to have this video be open. But thank you, Zahariyahu. It was a blast doing this with you as always, and I look forward to your future revelations as always.
Oh, well, thank you for having me, and just thank you for everything.
Of course.
Everything you do.
Okay, I'll let you go. Shalom.
Shalom.